Hello, beautiful Thrivers for another Thriver TV, which is about coming out after narcissistic abuse. And Facebook would not stream, but now it is. So that's awesome. I just want to start off by saying thank you for being such a beautiful part of our community. Thank you for all of the support over the years, those of you who've been with me for a long time, and thank you for the new people that have started following me. And I also want to say a special thank you for those of you who are applying quantum freedom healing in your life, for upshifting yourself into a more healed person, spreading that throughout your families, your communities, and helping upshift our world. And speaking of that, I was away for 2 weeks with my lives because I was working with my September Quantum Freedom Healing trainee intake. 10 incredible people from all over the world who now have the technology of quantum freedom healing inside of them. And in our week and a half, we had half of them here at Cape Trip, half of them online. We did incredible upgrades to themselves. They broke through massive blocks within themselves to in life that was really mind-blowing. They did so well. They're doing incredible healings on themselves and other people, and I could not be more proud. And I just want to say, those of you who are interested in becoming a quantum freedom healing practitioner, there's very few in the world. We've only got a little over a dozen now, and people are coming through in their assessments to be qualified. There is only going to be a May group in 2026. There's not going to be a September group. The people who are interested, please, if you are, write into support at Melanie Tonia Evans for more details. And if you have expressed interest, applied, and been approved, please write into support at Melanie Tonia Evans to find out what you need to do to seal your position, because a lot of people have expressed interest and they're filling really quickly. Okay, so another quick announcement. Spa for Your Soul October Deserving Your Miracles is coming up in 9 days' time on the 15th of October. And this is about getting into a frequency where you can manifest literally instantly, especially when you have big breakdowns in your life. You feel like it's all despair, it's darkest before dawn. It's actually the most powerful time to flip the script and to turn on your manifestation capacity is in that moment. A lot of people don't know how or why or what to do. That's exactly what I'm going to be teaching. Also, too, it's a pay what you wish event, because I don't want anybody to miss out. All you need to do is type miracles, the word, and I'll send you all of the details. Just put that in the chat and I'll get that off to you. Also, there's a gamma brainwave that you can pick up, meditation. People have been doing it and it said it's already putting them into miracle frequency. So I'm super excited about that. Okay, so today we're talking about the truth about coming out after narcissistic abuse. And many people believe, like I initially believed, that if we just use willpower, if we just get up, if we're just strong, that we can get back out into life. Now, with my own story, I discovered nothing could be further from the truth. I'd always, like so many of you, prided myself on, I'm strong, I'm resilient, I can always get up, I can always make it work again. After narcissistic abuse, I was shocked to discover the more I tried to do that, the more I just hit brick walls and doors closed in my face. And there was nothing I could do to make my life feel safe on the inside and make myself feel safe going out into the world. I see this all the time. I've seen it over the last 20 years. Now, the problem out there is most of the things that you hear about narcissistic abuse recovery is that you're just hearing about narcissism and what it's done to you, but you're not actually getting inner healing. And therefore, what it feels like is if, well, let's say you felt emotionally broken and somebody said to you, walk out your front door and walk 20 paces across the road. Now, it might feel hard to do, but you could kind of make yourself do it. But imagine if you're up 20 flights and there's a tightrope and somebody said to you, walk 20 meters across the road. It literally, you wouldn't be able to do it. You'd be traumatized and terrified. And I really believe that this is a feeling that is akin to getting yourself back out into life after narcissistic abuse, because your whole inner identity feels shattered. So you might be going to see a psychologist or doing talk therapy or doing your research, and you're trying to kind of find that thing that's going to make you feel confident and safe around people again. But yet it just doesn't feel like that. You feel like you've got this dark ink coursing through your veins. You feel like it's not even safe to be with yourself in your inner being, let alone get out into the world. And not just if you had the logical shock of what people can actually be like, how disingenuous, how malicious, how narcissistic, you also are still suffering massively from the effects of that in your inner being. So things like the advice of just go get a new hobby, just do something you've always loved, just, get over it. It's over now. You're out now, or all of those things, they just don't cut it. And that's not what real healing is, because we're human beings. We're not human thinkings and doings. And when the being is shattered, no amount of thinking or doing is going to compensate for that. So a lot of people, like I did, initially got it wrong and thought, I'm just going to power through this, because I didn't know about healing the deep inner trauma. And a lot of people don't know, because a lot of people aren't talking about those solutions, or they just simply don't have those solutions. And these unhealed wounds don't just disappear. They actually get re-triggered. So the problem is, after narcissistic abuse, you already have complicated post-traumatic stress disorder. You literally do. You may have all sorts of things. You're having difficulty with food. Maybe, you're overeating the wrong things, and you've got some addictions and cravings now to try to stuff down the pain rather than have to deal with it. Maybe, you could have turned to alcohol or more cigarettes, or of course breaking no contact. And all of those things destroy your self-esteem and your nervous system even more. So it all just compounds, because the ways that we've been trying to deal with the triggers of the internal trauma generally lead us into more triggers and internal trauma. And the thing is too, we can get addicted to reading online about narcissists, or joining narcissistic abuse forums and talking to other sufferers of narcissistic abuse. And we're actually reinforcing the identity, I've been a victim and I've been destroyed, which makes all of that even worse as well. So when we're in that place, there's all the fear, and there's collapse and shutdown. And what your inner being unhealed is, which is really your inner child, which is the vulnerable, broken part of ourselves, who's been shattered on the levels of love, approval, security, and survival, those 4 pillars. And that's our broken, vulnerable parts. It's our inner child, who doesn't feel like it has a safe adult protector to be safe in the body and safe in the world. And that's all going on in between ourselves. And that part of ourselves wants to hide, of course, wants to isolate and incubate. Now, mind you, I really want you to understand at first that is super, super important, is to take that time to heal yourself and do whatever it takes to feel safe. And initially for me, when I discovered the quantum tools, what I did is I did so much inner work with the inner healing quantumly, to get the trauma out, to get the light of source creator in my body, which is the ultimate parent and love, approval, security, and survival, to take over those parts that had been so broken and to heal them up into a light force of solidness and healing, which is what quantum freedom healing does, that took a lot of isolation. You can't do that when you're chasing external things to try to take away the pain, or where you're, pushing yourself out into life and around people and around company and to try to find a new boyfriend, or to try to join a hobby, or to try to, hang out and get something to stop the pain. That's so counterintuitive. I mean, it's counterintuitive to stay in and work on yourself, and it's counterproductive to try to go out and self-soothe that way, because I call it ice cream on top of poop. It was a late Debbie Ford expression, and so powerful, because your ice cream cone's still got the poop in it. It's got the trauma, which is not going anywhere. And we're just trying to put ice cream on top of the pooey cone. And of course, we're left with a pooey cone. There's no avoiding it. And it's the same with our internal trauma. So, and I did it. I tried to push out there. I tried to date. I was still breaking no contact. I tried to join new groups and go and do things with people and go out and have fun. And I ended up sicker and sicker and sicker and more traumatized, because the other thing is, when we've got internal trauma in our being, we need to understand quantum law. It's very, very absolute, and it's very, very simple. Whatever we're vibrating on the inside is exactly what we're magnetizing on the outside. And it doesn't mean that we're defective or there's something wrong with us or it's our fault. It's just vibrational law. So when we've got the trauma of it's not safe to be in my body, it's not safe to be in life, and we try to get out into life to fix that, what happens? We meet the creeps. We have the horrible situations happen to us. Awful things happen, and they continue to happen. And the people that we're experiencing on the outside reflect the trauma that we're feeling on the inside. And it's not that we're making them, it's just that it's quantum law. So, and we know that when we're still traumatized by narcissists and we're trying to get good court deals, or we're trying to manifest our lives back, and we get the wrong solicitor and barrister and awful people and people not believing us, and it's re-traumatizing is what I'm trying to say. So your inner self wanting to withdraw has it right. That's your inner child, your inner being saying the frequency, the trauma that we're in right now is not going to be, it's not going to be good out there. It knows. And all of us have been programmed to not trust that, but it knows. And that's why it says, I want to withdraw. I want to isolate. I don't want to get out there yet. And that's actually the sensible choice first off. But then we have to be really, really careful, because if we isolate and we don't do anything to address the inner trauma programs that are activated and running, then what happens, it's like locking yourself in a log cabin in the woods with the wolves inside the cabin, because those inner traumas are going to eat you alive if you're not releasing them, healing them, meeting them, doing the inner work on them in a powerful way. So that doesn't work either. And this is where people can gravitate, and I see it all the time in the community, is I'm feeling really lonely and clogged up with trauma. I need to get out there to get myself back into life. But when I try to do it, I get more traumatized, and then I end up hiding out even more. And I'm in this whole vicious cycle. So we need to understand not to force yourself to get out there, but also balance what you're going to do in there and what that means. And then I've seen this situation happen with people in the community too, and I did this as well. I promise you, I've done everything wrong to work out how to get it right. And then what some people have done is become addicted to quantum freedom healing. And I'm going to talk about this more in depth On my Friday in my private group, we're doing this exact topic where I'm giving talk and coaching and healing, direct healing suggestions. But what can happen is we take it too far as well. So, what is the balance here? The balance is realizing that getting yourself out there is not about willpower or positive thinking. That's never going to make you better. And in fact, your inner child is going to feel even more broken because it's like the adult, the willpower is saying, just get over it, get out there, let's do this. And the inner child is screaming, I feel so broken in regard to my worth, my lovability, my safety. I really need some validation and I need some help with this to be able to heal these parts up. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep breaking. And that, in a nutshell, is literally the make and break experience of narcissistic abuse, which personally really shocked me because I'd prided myself on how tough and resilient and how many things I'd got over in my life. And this one just was not like that. And it really wasn't. And the reason it isn't like that, because it's a soul correction. It's our inner being and source and our whole environment saying that inner work, that inner resolution of those parts that were always susceptible with the programming that you had in your childhood, in your past lives, that this has been a crescendo continuation of that with the narcissist that's brought you to your knees. This is not to be ignored, and this can't be ignored. This is a make or break. This is an evolve or dissolve. This is a integrate or disintegrate moment. This is the hugest turning point in your life if you pay attention and if you have devotion to this ability to turn this massive breakdown into the biggest breakthrough in your life, which is the Thrive Away. And again, this is what I'm going to be talking about in the next spa for your soul in 9 days' time, 8 days, 9 days' time. Just write miracles in the chat if you want to learn how to turn your most massive breakdowns into your biggest breakthroughs, because it's exactly this topic. And that 3-hour workshop, plus I'm going to give you quantum freedom healing shifts, 3 shifts in there. If you've never experienced quantum freedom healing, this is your moment to feel it in your body and feel how it accelerates your healings 50 to 100 times of what talk therapy does. And I really mean that. So grab your ticket. All right. So until that inner trauma is met and released in your body, and talking about it doesn't do that. Bashing pillows and crying actually doesn't do that. It actually needs to be done with a body modality tool. So there's things like EFT, there's things like body code, there's things like kinesiology, theta healing. Now, you know, I'm a little bit biased, but quantum freedom healing to me works better than any of these. That's why I created it and channeled it, and a lot of people agree. But what is actually needed is the energetic signature, the somatic feelings of that trauma in your body. There has to be a way for you to be able to feel it, load it up, get it up and out, and then bring in your true self to replace that, which is the light of source, which is source creator, your higher self, which already has the codes of your solid, complete being. And that's how we heal what the logical mind can't heal. And until you go through that experience and actually work with it, it's like you may believe what I'm saying is woo-woo, but it's actually neuroscience. It's quantumly quantifiable. And the bottom line is it works, and it works really quickly once you start doing it. And then you think, well, why didn't somebody tell me this? Why didn't I know? Why haven't I always been healing like this? And you realize how trying to heal logically and through information and research, although it made you understand why things happened, it actually never healed you. And this does. So until that inner trauma is released, that's not allowing you to feel safe in your body and safe in life and get out there, you won't. That's the bottom line. You won't. And that's why a lot of people just medicate because, and unfortunately, that shuts down all the good feelings as well as all the bad feelings. It can be great as a bridge, and I'm not going to talk you out of it, and keep it up if you need it. If you need it, for sure. But just be aware that it cuts out intuition, your connection to source, and the good feelings as well as the bad feelings. And we really want to be a human being experiencing all of the richness and mastery of our emotions and connections and what this beautiful world and life has to offer. We want the beauty and the richness of it. And that's just not possible with inner trauma in your body that's not allowing that. So if you have, excuse me, if you have any takeaway about today, the biggest one is don't be hard on yourself and just try and push yourself out into life to, get a relationship or get a friendship circle back or to make up the money again or whatever. Because if the inner program and trauma hasn't been released and worked on, you're only going to do Groundhog Day. And maybe even worse, because those fragile triggers inside of you that haven't been healed yet are going to be set off really badly. And you could end up in a worse state than you were before you tried to repair and rebuild. And yes, you may have to go to work. You may have to put work on the table, food on the table, all of those things. But grant yourself as much space and time as you can to do the inner work. And then when you do the inner work, what's going to happen is where the trauma and the pain was, you're going to start to have space where you just feel better. You even feel happy without any viable proof about why you should be happy, which is true mastery and true manifestation. And then with that space, you may say, well, I'm going to go and see some trusted friends and I'm going to hang out with them and in safe spaces, or I might go for a beautiful walk in nature, or I might go and join a spiritual meditation club. I might go somewhere that's really, wholesome and nice for my nervous system, a hobby that I'd like to do. Maybe I'm going to go paint and I'm going to do things. So you get some better feelings on the inside and some more solidness, and a real devotion and dedication to your own self-partnering so that you can get out in the world and start partnering with others in the world in healthy ways that are going to look after you, rather than trying to get relief from the outside from a trauma response, which is only going to manifest events, situations, and people that are going to grant you more trauma ultimately in your body and break you down even worse. And that's ironically usually when I see people come to my narcissistic abuse recovery program, is the strong, capable people that have tried to get on with life after narcissistic abuse. And they're like, I feel worse, not better. And that's when I rejoice for them, because I know that they're ready for personal catharsis from the inside out. And it's actually going to work. And they're going to have the ability to not just survive, but thrive. The bottom line is traditional approaches that don't go to inner trauma, they don't work long term and they don't actually heal. You're managing symptoms possibly for the rest of your life. And you may end up in the category of thinking, well, I've got ADHD, or I now am bipolar, or I now have CPTSD for life. I'm now agoraphobic. And you may put yourself into that pigeonhole and start seeking out those groups, which reinforces your inner identity beliefs that you are that, which means you're not going to thrive. So I hope that this has made sense to you. I really hope, just if this is related to you, if you've experienced this, or if you are experiencing this, I want you to put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. Okay, if you've come up and out of this, by using what I've said, I want you to put I in the chat. If you're in the process of moving through this and working on yourself and starting to get out in life in healthy ways, I want you to write process so that kind of people know in the community where other people are at, because we've all been there. And I really want you to know that, and I'll speak from personal experience, that I broke so much from narcissistic abuse that I had acute severe agoraphobia, which meant that I could not go outside my front door without literally having panic attacks and episodes that initially were completely unmanageable, to the point, and I'd always been a powerful, positive person, and that's where I ended up. And I honestly believed before that happened to me, I used to think people who had agoraphobia, who were hermits, it was an excuse. I just thought, and I feel really bad about that now, I actually thought they're just lazy, they're just making it up, it can't be true. But I promise you, after going through it, my heart goes out to you if you're feeling like this, because it shocked me to my core how powerfully debilitating that actually was. And it was so bad for me at the start that I had to get people to go put petrol in my car, to get my shopping for me, to run errands, because getting out there and then coming back home felt to me like I was walking into a fully fledged war zone with bombs going off. It was, and it would take me 2 days to recover from going outside my front door. And I didn't even know how to overcome it. And it wasn't until body modalities and I started healing, and the traumas were so deep. And the trauma literally was, it's not safe to be in my body, it's not safe to be in life, humans aren't safe. That's what it was. Those were the beliefs that were fully activated as a result of narcissistic abuse. Now, what is really interesting is when I got out of those traumas, and I'm fully out of them now, fully. When I got out of them and I looked back at my life, I realized that even as a little girl, I would hide behind my mum's skirts, and I was like fearful. And it was normal because I'd always felt like that. And traveling alone, I would need a man with me. But it was my normal. So I just thought it was my normal. But then I couldn't even come out of my front door. So the bottom line was, I had already had those beliefs and traumas in my system, genetically, from ancestors, from my childhood, and also from my past lives. The narcissist came along, smashed them up. They were fully activated, and then life could no longer go on as normal, as a perfect soul plan for me to turn inside, to meet these and release them and replace them with the light of my higher self, which is prime creator source, to give me the downloads of and embody them. I'm safe to be in my body, it's safe to be myself, I'm safe to be in life, and I am safe in regard to other humans. And that's the downloads I received. When I finally worked out how to do that with Quantum Freedom Healing, it was 1 2-hour session that did that in that instant. It was gone after 18 months and it never came back. That's how powerful this is when you connect to it. So I want you to have hope. I really want you to have hope that there are solutions. And if, like myself, after what you've been through, you end up safe in your body, safe in yourself, safe in life, and come on board with boundary function, you can speak up, you're not scared of the reactions of others by being authentic and being yourself, and you know Source has your back, you have the possibility and opportunity to be the safest that you have ever felt as a human being on this planet, so much greater than way before narcissistic abuse. And even if narcissistic abuse is all you've known for the last 50 lifetimes, you can reverse this program. So that's why I'm so passionate and so in love with the inner quantum work, because nothing else in my life worked. And if I hadn't have gone there, I know I wouldn't be alive today. Narcissistic abuse is that serious, and it's that serious for a lot of people. So I would love you guys, have a look at the link above, because as I said, I'm going to be doing a deeper talk on this with my private NARP community, who I privately coach in a group every week. We're going to be doing a coaching call on this. I'm going to be giving them the healing shifts to use quantumly to move through this. And we're going to be talking about what happens when you get the balance wrong, when you stay too much in and don't get out, and vice versa. So I'm really looking forward to this topic, and I would love you to be there. Those of you who are NARPers, and if you have been thinking about NARP, I'd love you to be there as well. Also to, again, write miracles in the comments, and I'll be sending you all of the details to my Spa for Your Soul in 9 days time, where we're going to be doing some powerful shifts to be aligned with your miracles, which is the life that was destined for you even before the beginning of time. It's your soul truth, it's your soul worth, and the energy of the benevolence of the universe, of Prime Creator, wants to gift you with more than what you could ever imagine. It's just we haven't had the inner being that can accept that much light. And we're going to talk about that and how to reverse that. It's going to be amazing. So thank you everybody for today and for being here with me. And I'll be catching you soon. And I'll see those of you for NARP coaching on Friday. Lots of love. Bye-bye.